Hey, walk with me, family. Danielle Collins here. I'm in my car again. But anyway, hope you're having a great day. Hope the New Year's treating you well so far. I just wanted to come up here and tell you a little bit about myself for those of you who don't know. I was born let me start like this. I was raised in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, in a little community called Drake's Community. I don't know, some of you all may know where that is. It's near Gold Rock, which is now, Drake's and Gold Rock are both now part of Rocky Mount, of the city limits. I was raised in that area. I was born in the Bronx, New York. So my topic today is, how many of you all were born or raised in a small town but felt like you should be somewhere else or should have been somewhere else? Like, I was raised in a small town. Let me roll my windows up. By my grandparents. I had a lot of family. I have a lot of family. I have, I'm the youngest of three. I have two sisters that are older than me. And I have a lot of cousins and a lot of aunts and uncles. I have 7 aunts and uncles all together. 3 boys and 4 girls, my aunts and uncles. And out of those, my mother made 5, so it was 8 of them all together. My mother passed when I was 11 months old. And out of the aunts and uncles that I have, we're only missing 1. And that's my Uncle Buddy. But my topic, like I said, is how many of you all grew up in a small town or in the big city, but felt like you should be in the country or in the city, in my case. I grew up in Rocky Mount in Drake's. I didn't have a lot of friends. I was actually picked on a lot coming up. For one reason, I guess, because of where I lived. I lived, like I said, with my grandparents. And my grandfather, he was a farmer at heart. So he raised chickens and pigs, and he had a lot of stuff around his house. So I think the kids picked on me a lot because of that. Like I said, I didn't really have any friends. They also picked on me about the way I looked. They said I was ugly and so forth and so on. But growing up there, I always felt like I was in a small city, in a small country town, but I was supposed to be in the city. I always used to say I'm a city girl in the country. That was what I used to say about myself. I was a city girl in the country. Like I said, mainly because of the fact that I was born in New York. I was born in the Bronx. And so my mom, when she got sick, she came down to North Carolina to pass, in so many words. She knew she was sick, and she wanted to be near her family when she passed. And she was leaving me with my grandparents, so her mother and father. So she, I always felt like I was a city girl in the country. So when I got older, I said, I'm moving. When I got, I used to always say, I'm going to move out of Rocky Mount. I'm going to move out of the country. And I did. After a while, I moved out of the country. It's funny now because I moved to a smaller place in another part of North Carolina, which is Warsaw, North Carolina. I moved to Warsaw, North Carolina. I lived there about excuse me, lived there about 5 years. Um, but I wanted to get away from there too. So my family and I, and at that time I had 4 kids. I have 4 kids altogether. I have a 31-year-old, a 26-year-old, a 24-year-old, and a 17-year-old now. So at that time, us living in Warsaw, I wanted to still get out and get to the city. You know, I moved to Warsaw because I wanted a house and so forth and so on. But I still was out of place. I was still in the country. So I decided to move my family. We've moved a lot, but I decided to move my family to Florida. At the time, my husband and I had visited Florida, and we loved it. And so we put some names of places in a hat. Florida, Jacksonville, New York, D.C., Charlotte, Raleigh. We put some places, Jacksonville, North Carolina, in a hat, and we shook it up, and we drew. And the majority of us drew Florida, and I'm happy we did, because this is my second time living here. I lived here the first time for 4 years. Then I left, went to Virginia to be near my sister, left there and moved back home to Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and lived there for 2 years. And then moved back to Jacksonville. I'm glad I moved back to Jacksonville, but I do miss home. I miss my family. My grandmother has passed. She died in 2014 while I was here in Jacksonville. That, to me, sent my family that was already on sort of a downward spiral into more of a hurricane, tornado spiral, if that makes any sense. We was already in different places, but we started falling off by the wayside. The things that we used to do as a family when she was alive, we no longer do. We used to get together every February the 23rd. That was her birthday. Around that weekend, I have an aunt whose birthday is the 24th of February. And we would get together every year around that time of the year, the family, the grandkids, the aunts, the uncles, and celebrate their birthdays because they were so close together. And since it was my grandmother and that was her mother and then her birthday, why not do it together all at the same time? I don't know why I'm so sleepy, yawning so much, but excuse me, please. But you're walking with me through my life, right? I'm yawning, so that tells you I'm sleepy or whatever the case. So, but yeah, we would celebrate those times of the year. We would get together Mother's Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving. We would do something. But now that she's gone, it's not the same. It's not the same. And excuse me for looking around as well. I'm sitting in the parking lot because I was driving. But I'm always aware of my surroundings, so I try to always stay alert around me. But yeah, so who else feels like they are misplaced in some words or in some instances? You know, being in a small town or a big city when you feel like you should be in the country or a more secluded place. Not necessarily the country, but more, maybe a more slower area. I like the city. I like the lights. I like the traffic. It's not a lot of traffic, but it does get hectic during the weeks. Morning time, the morning commute and the evening commute, it usually gets kind of hectic. So I like the traffic. I like the lights. I like the people. I like the stuff that's around. There's a lot of stuff. Like there's a lot of eateries. There's a lot of restaurants. There's a lot of things to do. A lot of things to see. A lot of shopping areas. I like that. I like to have a variety, not necessarily having to go to the same place all the time. So I really like that. I like the city, and I like it where people are friendly. When I lived in Virginia, to me, the people were not so friendly. They may have been friendly, but they were not open to new relationships. They were not open to new people. So I like Florida because to me, the sun shines a little brighter here, and the people are a little bit more friendlier. Now, home, where I'm from, the people are friendly because they're country. So they sit on the porch, they wave, they'll speak to you. Everybody knows each other, or know your mama or your daddy or your cousin or your kin somehow. And that's okay, that small town love, because when you go in the bank, they know who you are. I know my grandmother used to go in the grocery store and they would know her. They would know my granddaddy and they would know her. And they even still know some of my aunts and uncles that go in the store. So that's cool. That's cool. But you can also develop that type of relationship with people in other places too. But the country does give you that comfort, that southern home, down home comfort. But I just always felt like I needed to be where stuff was moving a little faster. The traffic here, when I go home, people driving too slow. They're driving too slow. I'm like, oh, please just move out the way, But then here, the traffic is moving just fine. But then sometimes there's some crazies that's driving. And I'm like, why are you driving so fast? Where are you trying to go? You only run into a red light. So why you, that type of thing. But it's more people, it's more activities. Like beginning of the New Year's Day, there was fireworks down at the river. There was things at the beach. There were things all over the place, In North Carolina, where I'm from, there probably was only fireworks at the stadium or the area that they go to now. Now they do have more stuff. They are getting, they've gotten a stadium or some kind of stadium where they go in and have shows. People come and sing and perform and stuff like that. So they have that, but it's still not a lot going on. It's some different eateries and restaurants coming to the area. It's growing a little bit, but it used to always be the city on the rise. Well, it's just now rising, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? It's just now rising because the mall has died down, has died out. There's not anybody in the mall really. No stores. They come to the mall, but then they go. Because the business and people are not making a whole lot of money. So business is not flowing like that. And then sometimes, some of the people go to Raleigh or to Greenville to shop. So, there's not a lot of business around. But drop it in the comments. Interact with me. This is an interaction. I don't want, you're walking with me. We're winning against life's challenges. We're going to win this year no matter what. We're going to win. We're going to overcome all of the challenges that come before us, right? We're going to pray. We're going to ask for discernment. We're going to make money. We're going to win. We're going to talk. We're going to live. We're going to live this year for real. We're going to really live out loud, And so just join me. Like, share, subscribe. Please, like, share, and subscribe. I keep forgetting to say that at the end of my messages, but I really need you to like, share, and subscribe. And comment. Let me know. Do you feel displaced? Are you someone who was born in the city who felt like they should have been in the country? Or maybe you were like me, someone who was in the country but felt like you were supposed to be in the city. Drop your comments below. This is Danielle Collins, and you're walking with me to a better life. You're winning with me to a better life. And always remember, in parting, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Peace.